Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Come in, come in, come in. One, come in all. Let's pull up the alternate device. Let's cut the TV off. No, where's the remote? That was up. All right, I'll cut it off from the main button. All right. Problem solved. I hope everyone is well today. On a Sunday, is anyone cooking? What did y'all do today? I'm not cooking. I've been cooking all week for other people. Events, that kind of stuff. So what's everyone doing? I'm pulling up the chat now. So if you give me a second. Oh yeah, we did Dominique After Dark last night. That was pretty cool. Dominique After Dark is like our little well, it's a little grown up time actually. And so a lot of grown up music, a little spicy talk, if you will. Um, just talking about grown up stuff, some of it can be actual, some of it doesn't have to be, but basically, Dominic Dark is an opportunity for the grown people to, express ourselves in ways um, that are real to us. Okay, let's pull you up now. Gosh, it's taking a while to get pulled up. I hope well, I knew the image was going to be horrible, of course. The sound too? Let me guess. I didn't even cut off Well, I knew the image was going to be horrible, of course. The sound too? Let me cut this volume down. Yeah. Let me see if I cut off the AC if it helps a bit. Give me a second, guys. You shouldn't have to burn up in your house in order to have decent Wi-Fi. And I'm also wondering if maybe my mm, thing is shaky. The fixture that the cam is on. But anyway, if it doesn't clear up, I'm just gonna go to no video because what's the point? Today, what I wanted to talk about was YouTube beef in the street sector because right now, as you know, you've got a lot of people going at it ever since the whole Yaya debacle. There's been, you know what, guys? Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me try to I'm gonna reposition this. Just give me 1 second to reposition this camera in the hopes it needs a little. So we're gonna be all of this YouTube beef that's going on, right? How did it start? Who's right? Who's wrong? Is there a right? Is there a wrong? All of that. So right now you've got Boys World, you've got Sheena Speak, you got Vibes Clean, you got is Bishop? Now mind you, These are all channels that I watch or have watched, or mostly watch, whatever the case may be. And so it begs the question, like, am I supposed to be picking a side? Like, well, if that's the case, okay, let's cut the camera back on. Ooh, that, well, it looks clear on there, but it doesn't mean it. But oh yeah, that cleared up. Okay, so I was right. It had a little bit of movement, I guess. No, because it's going back a little warped. All right, but anyway, and so it begs the question: am I supposed to be picking a side? And so I guess in this live, we're going to decide which side we're supposed to be picking, because at the end of the day, the side, the only side to pick is truth, right? And so it all comes down to receipts, right? Oh my God, y'all, I can't. The image is really, really sending me. What the hell is it? I don't even have a whole bunch of crap connected to the Wi Fi. The TV is off. The Alexa device is off. I mean, I got two phones connected. That's it. So I don't know. But who's in here? Can we get a who's in here? Say hello, everyone. If you're in the chat, say hello real quick so I know who's in here. And wow, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on with this Wi-Fi. And if I take it off of the Wi-Fi, let's see if I. Well, that wasn't bright. Considering this isn't the phone, it's the issue. But anyway, so as I was saying, the only side to really pick is what's right. But I gotta wait for some more people to get in here because crap. Wait, I need some more people to get in because we're gonna figure out together who's right and who's wrong in this whole recent set of spats that have taken place after the Yaya incident. Um, from what I gather, and this is why I really needed more people to come in here and give me a little bit of help with this, because if you know, you know, I be in and out of the YouTube streets. I don't pay attention to it all. I have a life. I have a career that means the world to me. Um, that brings me a lot of joy. So there is a lot that I miss. But apparently, over the last week or so, it seems that Vibes Queen is of the mindset that her name is being dragged through these YouTube streets, that she's being disrespected as a woman, that she is being ultimately bullied, and that lies are being put on her name with regards to how she handled the Yaya situation. In the beginning, they were trying to assert that she had tipped Marcus off. She vociferously denied. And as far as I know, was able to prove that she hadn't contacted him. And then you have Troy's World, who is of the opinion that Vibes Queen is, I guess you could say, not who she says that she is, right? And so I'm trying to understand, like, where is all of this coming from and where is all of this going? What is the point in all of this? And is there any way that this ends? And if so, how? So if you are in the street sector and you follow all of this stuff, I really appreciate your commentary on this matter. What do you think is the lie? What do you think is the truth? Do you think it? What do you think is the lie? What do you think is the truth? Why do you think it? Mm-hmm. And who? Okay, well, we got a cap, a, a captain, or a cappuccini, a captain. Okay, AK Patton 5694 says hello. I return that to you. Hello, and for those of you who are just coming in, we are discussing the YouTube beef between Vibes Queen, Troy's World, and the rest, stemming from the Yaya episode of ASI. Okay, if you have an opinion about who's right, who's wrong, could you put it in the chat, please? If you have an opinion about who's right and who's wrong, if you could put it in the chat, please. Of course, I am going to ask why. But the thing is, like I said, I enjoy all of these are content creators that have contributed to my growth on YouTube. Marcus has contributed to my growth no matter what our differences are. I can't say he didn't contribute to my growth. Can you please, what? Are you Christian? Can you please? I'm sorry, it looks like it just says, can you please? Can you please what? Can you please what? Are you Christian? I do not discuss my religious views with people on the internet. That is never a wise thing to do. Or at least, what is your profession? My profession is in culinary arts. I'm curious, is there some reason you ask? I mean, it's not a bad question. It's a fine question. I'm just curious. Like maybe, do I sound familiar? Sound like someone you may have worked around or... Oh, it says, are you Christian? You probably weren't asking about my religion. You may have been asking if I was someone whose name is Christian. So what is your profession? What is your profession? Okay, so anyway, getting back to this YouTube sector beef, you got all this at it with each other, and these are all content creators that like I contributed to this platform. So obviously, Marcus's contribution was, for one, um, bringing me onto the platform. I mean, I can't deny that. Two, when he came in my house and showed his ass, he literally added hundreds and hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds of people to the channel. That's a contribution. Even though it came in as a result of his negativity, it's still a contribution nonetheless. When I first entered this space, Vibes Queen and Troy's World were two of the first people to show love, to promote the channel, to guide people over. Vibes Queen, for her part, several steps further, has guided me along this process, along this YouTube journey. Yo, Daddy Laverne. Hey, yo, Daddy Laverne, how are you? Along this journey, has guided me, or found advice, pulls up to lives from time to time, hangs out a bit. Bishop, I don't know if Bishop is part of that particular, but he's shown up in lives and he's been, kind and welcoming to the space. So you can imagine the position that I find myself in, where there's all of these platforms. One of them, for the most part, Sheena Speaks. Sheena is someone that I have had a contentious relationship with in the past. I've enjoyed her content. We've been able to put that contentious relationship behind us, and Sheena herself has been a supporter of the channel, I've got to say. So again, you can imagine the difficult situation I find myself in, right? Because when I'm in people's chats, sometimes I'm in the bushes a little bit, but most of the time I end up coming out the bushes, right? And so you want to be able to speak freely in someone's chat and say hello, and someone else not feel slighted or feel as if you haven't taken a side or whatever the case may be. And then because I work and I don't get to be like, there are days I don't even go on YouTube. No more than there are days when the only thing I do is open up YouTube to respond to comments. I don't click on videos. I don't go live. I don't post. It will literally be just me responding to comments on previous posts and moving on. And because of that, I do be at a slight disadvantage when it comes to knowing who's right, who's wrong, and what's all going on in this YouTube space. And from the looks of it, the people in the chat have an opinion either, or don't know what their opinion should be, or don't have enough information to make a sound opinion, or whatever the case may be. But the thing of it is, for my part, the only opinion is what's right. And I can tell you something I, as a man, don't think is right, that I, as a human being, don't think is right. Like, see, I always say there's a way that you should, if you're going to have an argument with a woman, or if you're going to disagree with a woman, like, I feel like as a man, there's a way to do that that should not come across as bullying, as respectful, as nasty. And you should also be in a position where you can back up literally every single thing that you are saying, or every accusation being made. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I don't think that, like, when men argue with women, or when men debate women, or just have disagreements with women, that it needs to meet the same vitriolic level that it might meet if you were having that same disagreement with a man, if that makes any sense. Now, conversely, I do feel as if women in spats with men, it's helpful not to try to assume their role, because you can't. And I'm not saying that anyone is. In fact, let me be clear, I don't think anyone is. Um, but it was just something that needed to be said generally. With respect to the two women going at it, and that would be Sheena Speaks and Vibes Queen, right? That's a more equal set of opponents, because in that you have two women. Um, the thing is this, for me, there's so much swirling around, right? That it almost becomes impossible to make out what the root cause is, the root issue, the root complaint, or whatever the case may be. And so it starts to feel like a gratuitous attack almost. It almost starts to feel like, can anyone tell me, have I missed some receipts? There was the day I did that 12-hour shift. Have I missed some receipts? That's why this is why I'm discussing this in a more general way rather than a more ground down and specific way, which I do intend to do once I have all or more of the facts about what exactly is going on. And how much of this is, yes. Hi, Sheena. Welcome in. Yes. 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 I do want to see if anyone has any receipts related to this situation, because one thing about me that you could depend on, I am an adult of sound mind. I'm also an adult who possesses a certain level of both intellect and common sense, that I am able to make an informed decision once I have a set of facts before me about what is right, what is wrong, and what is somewhere in the middle. The question was, what receipts do you need? I'm so sorry. The heart was hiding the word what. Receipts as to what Vibe Queens' role is in covering for Marcus. Allegedly. Obviously. Allegedly. Because based upon like what I've been seeing in those seem to be the bulk of, or the gist of, like, if you were to parse all of the accusations down into one sentence, I think the overarching accusation is Vibes Queen is covering for Marcus. Because all of the other stuff is a vibe. Okay, if you ever have a question to me, or you're more than welcome to come to me and ask me. Oh, no, but see, Sheena, here's the thing. It was literally a general question because that is not an accusation that has been made by one person. That's an accusation being made by several people. So for me, it was like a general question as to how so many people in this space, and I can count at least five. Yeah, no, you could, Sheena. I can count at least 5 to 6 people in this space who have formed that conclusion. And so my question is like, from where does the is this a thing wherein 6 people found 6 different examples? Is this a thing wherein 6 people are sharing 1 or 2 examples? Or you get what I'm saying? Because there's so many ways that this can occur. And then of course there's the gray area where how do you this heart keeps blocking. So I'm gonna have to wait till the chat moves up a little bit to see. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Well, I'm glad you do, Sheena, because like I said, I don't have a personal issue with but only one person involved in this whole situation. I think I don't have to mention that person's name. But okay, if you ever have a question to me, okay, yeah, I did see that one. When it comes to people beefing, I don't have a problem with you, and I won't let nobody tell me anything different about you. Yeah, and I appreciate that because, like I said, like I can't. Like one thing about me, like I feel like we're all grown. Everybody is an adult for the most part. You feel me? We can all fight our battles for the most part. My whole thing is this, right? The best way to fight any battle in the YouTube streets is with receipts, with facts, with proof, with incontrovertible evidence, um, and with credibility. Those are the best ways to fight any allegation, and they're also the best way to advance any allegation, right? Um, So for me, it's not. And by the way, let me just a quick disclaimer: no one has asked me to not communicate with any CC. No one has inquired about why I'm still subscribed to any CC. No one has suggested, intimated, or otherwise stated to me that I should not have any relation to any other CC involved in this matter. That wouldn't even be possible to do. I'm grown. But just as a up and coming CC in this space, it was something I wanted to. I'm not ever gonna ask you to pick a side in a beef that I'm in, all right, and I'm gonna still be here to support your channel. Much love and support. I appreciate that. MGO Proud Black Diva says, hi Dominique, just joining. The beefing is annoying, and even though I don't deal with most of them, there's a difference between truth and lies, and many are being told. And see, MGO Proud Black Diva, first of all, welcome into the space. Definitely wish you a blessed Sunday and start to your new week. However, we're adults. Nobody should be forced to pick any sides, right? And fair enough. No one is trying to force me to pick a side, but there is sort of that natural angst as a human being. There is a captain. If you're talking to me, I prefer the term Mister. But anyway, there is a sort of lies been told on me too, Sheena says. And see, this is what I'm saying. I just want to get to like, I would like to, you know what? Maybe what I got to do then. Okay, Jazro Weaver says, hey, Dominique, hi, how are you? And Sheena says, it's not about picking a side. I don't want that. Have a good day, sweetheart. No, I know you don't. And I don't, and like I said, no one has asked me to do that, right? But if you're a human being, right, and you operate from a place of honesty and you operate from a place of credibility and you operate from a place of dignity and integrity, right? Oh, I don't care if Marcus makes videos about me. That's perfectly fine. Um, adult YouTube is a free space. What am I gonna say? I mean, Marcus is grown. He could do what he chooses to do. What am I to even say to that? Um, yeah, Marcus is free to do what he wants to do. The hell. Okay, so now when you tell me that a video that he made is keeping food out my mouth, a dollar out my pocket, or a nigga out my bed, then we got a problem. Okay? Then that's when we got a problem. Anything about that, I don't care. Like, he's good. Like, Marcus is him. Like, I mean, but so like I was saying, no one's been trying to ask me to choose a side. That's not what I'm saying. But naturally, if you operate from a certain way of thinking, like I prefer to interact with honest people. I don't know about y'all. I don't know how important that is on y'all list of things, but for me, it is important to me that the people I'm interacting with are honest people. Right? It's also important to have some level of. This does not mean that I expect people to be perfect. Okay, so MGO production, Proud Black PhD says, let's just say that you were just commenting with a CC who doesn't operate in such integrity and is a huge liar, but of course, you can be cool with whom you choose. Okay, that is an opinion of yours, and it is an opinion that I certainly can respect, as I respect anyone's opinions. But see, that's the whole point of this live, is that I'm hoping to get to a point where there is no obfuscation. And again, MGO Proud Black PhD, but I swear to you, this is because I'm not on YouTube as much as so many other CCs. Like, I'm not one of these CCs who absorbs themselves in this. I can be, I can literally go 2, maybe even 3 days. It's an opinion backed up with too many facts. I listen, MGO Proud Black Diva, I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that. I'm literally not debating that. What I want to do is I want to schedule a panel show. I want to schedule a panel show on StreamYard. And I want everybody to present whatever facts and receipts that they have. And then I want us to pick a side. Because then at the end of the day, like I said, okay, said a ton. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I want to know that the people I F with operate with a certain amount of. Because see, if you lie on somebody, then I'm just going to be waiting for the day you lie on me. You understand what I'm saying? No matter who you are. If you literally intentionally, right? Now, I accidentally told a lie on Queen Tulsa last week, right? I listened to Queen Tulsa speak. A name was mentioned. I assumed that since it was my name, that it was me. I was wrong. I came on these YouTube streets and made remarks about that. People brought it to my attention that I was wrong. I backtracked. I made a post apologizing and extending extending an olive branch, which is the grown-up thing to do if you did not intentionally lie on someone. Now, if you intentionally lied or you intentionally created a narrative, no matter who you are, okay, obviously things where they are because that's where you intended for them to be. So my whole thing is that since I operate like there's never gonna come a time when I'm telling lies on another CC. Like just straight up lies. Now, if we arguing and I'm reading you and we reading each other, I mean, we both are going to be saying things that can be far-fetched, but it's all for the read. It's all for the drag, right? That's one thing. But I will never come on YouTube and give a report or a live about someone that is full of nothing but lies. And because I operate with that sense of integrity, I would prefer interactions or greater interactions with people in the space who operate in that same level or with that same level of integrity. Because again, if you lie on someone in this space, it means I have to just sit around and wait for you to lie on me. Now, MGO Proud PhD says, I think the panel show is a great idea. And Jazz Real, I have had plenty of facts. I've been in this sector for years observing. Jazz Real Weaver says, I've been in this sector for years observing as well, but I haven't seen any facts. Okay, M. Jazz Weaver clarifies MGO, and MGO Proud Black PhD says, Jazz Real, I have an entire Google, oh shoot, an entire, I'm going to assume the word hidden behind that heart is files or file. I have an entire Google file of evidence of many of the lies. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? MGO Proud Black PhD, put in a comment right now something that you 100% know. Hi, Lotus Flower Bomb. Welcome. Put something in the comments right now, MGO Proud Black PhD, but something that you personally know has been said about someone that is a lie. I want you to put one thing, put it in the chat. Excellent point, Dominique. There's a difference between making a mistake and deliberately lying. What I'm referring to are intentional lies. And look, like I said, I am not here to sit here and tell you that you are not telling the truth. I am not here to do that. I'm not challenging you on that in any way. What I'm trying to do, and believe you me when I tell you that at some point this week it's going to get done, and you can think of this as part one, step one. We are going to expose the lie for the lie it is, if it is indeed a lie. We are going to expose the truth for what it is, if it is indeed the truth. Because I'm about to go down this rabbit hole when I get off this live. And when I get off this live and go down this rabbit hole, what I'm going to do is I'm going to revisit the last 5 days of YouTube. And I'm going to peer through the things that I'm sure I've missed. Because as I told you all, it's no shade. I really be busy. I really be busy. I did an event this week that was 2,000 guests. 2,000. Sometimes I'm so tired, I don't even want to open up the phone, let alone watch a video. I'm so serious. I miss a lot. Okay, so MGO Proud Black PhD follows up with Okay, well, Jazz Real says, MGO, you have to come with receipts in order for us to believe you. MGO says, Jazz Real, I have many, many, many receipts. Dominique, give me just 1 second to choose one of the number of lives. Take your time. And then Jazz Real Weaver, be ready because I'm going to be asking you a question. And we're not going to argue. We're going to be grown-ups here. Even in disagreement, we're going to be fair. We're going to be reasoned. We're going to be mature. Even in disagreement, we're going to be that because we have the capacity. So why not? And so yeah, Jazz, be ready for your question. It will be coming. It may be the same and it may be the opposite. But we'll give our proud black PH diva a moment to come up with the question, the answer that she, or the question, the lie that she wants exposed. Because even if you say something like, let's say if someone says something like, Vibes Queen is covering for Marcus, right? Now, first of all, when you consider that the context of this is what could be allegedly a sexual assault or trafficking or CP or I don't know, right? But we know that the allegations and the charges that could come from it are criminal, right? So when you say that someone is covering up for that person, right? Then you now open them up to criminal liability because covering up in a criminal case, right, is a criminal offense, and there's no way to downplay that. There's no other way to look at that. If you say someone is covering up in a situation that could arise to criminal level charges, you're accusing that person of a criminal act. Can we all agree that that kind of an accusation should come with receipts, with proof? And now I'll read what MGO said, and you all can think about that question that I just asked you. Do you believe that the accusation that someone is covering up in what could amount to a criminal case, do you first agree that that would arise to a criminal offense? And do you secondly agree that that type of an accusation should not be leveled without proof? And that without proof, it becomes someone's opinion. And if that's your opinion, you're okay to have that opinion. Anyone is okay to have any opinion. I mean, we've been taught that since we were kids. There's almost no limit on opinions. Okay, but my personal belief is that as a grown-up, even our opinions, and again, this is for me. Maybe I'm overdoing it. Call me crazy. But I kind of think that even opinions need to be rooted in something that is tangible, something that is at least believable, something that, you get what I'm saying? Okay, so let's see what MGO says. She says one lie of multiple. Sheena intentionally lied about my nonprofit. 2, ATV Vaughn. 3, human trafficking of interviewees, infants. What the hell? See, this is what I'm saying. I know I gotta get more in these streets. Do I need to just give my life up? Me exploiting homeless people for ASI, from ASI for grants. Wow. 5, moving vulnerable adults across state lines for sexual activity. 6, Jesus Christ, parental alienation. 7, tax fraud. Jazz Weaver comes in with NGO. Those are just your opinions. You did not. Hold on now, Jazz Real Weaver. Wait, well, let me read the whole statement. You did not give me facts, but just accusations. I asked for receipts. Accusations are not considered facts. MGO Proud Black Diva continues with 8. ATV Vaughn supposedly putting his Cash App in her chat. Me and AT Vaughn having an affair. Well, now see, here's the thing, right? When it comes to lies and when it comes to accusations and opinions, right? Here's one thing that you have to understand. The ultimate bearer of the quote unquote fact is the person the accusation is being leveled on or being made about. So, for example, right? Let's say if someone says, well, Dominique is still messing with Tone. Now, that's an accusation, right? That's an allegation. If someone asks me to name a lie that someone told, and I say, well, this person said that I'm still messing with Tone, right? And I say that was a lie. Me saying that it's a lie is not an allegation or an accusation because I know the facts of my personal life. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if I had to say that so and so or such and such other person is not messing with so and so, then that's my opinion. I can't possibly know because I'm not with them all the time. I'm not attached to their body. I can't, for me to say, but now I can say I'm still not messing with this person, right? Because it's my body. I'm aware of what my body does and does not do, right? Where my body goes and does not go. So if someone makes an allegation about me related to my body, my defending myself against that by calling them a liar is not necessarily an allegation so long as I know it to be true for me, if that makes sense. I hope people think that makes sense. Okay. Welcome in, Cocoa Butter. Sheena made all these claims knowing that they were lies. Well, interestingly enough, Proud Diva, I literally this is something that everything that you just lined up are things she made several of them just yesterday, and it wasn't the first time. Again, I literally have receipts. I've shared several of them before and have no problem doing so again. Yeah, I'm gonna get this StreamYard set up this week. We're gonna just do a live panel. You can tap in, you can call in, the whole 9 yards. We're gonna have to do it. MG, so Jazz Real Weaver says, MGO, how do you know those are Shayna's or Sheena's claims? It could have been information that was given to her or shared with her. Why are we throwing his fingers and calling other people a liar? Okay, let me just interrupt real quick with that statement because there is some. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay. Here's the way I would answer that question. I'll give MGO a chance to, but I personally would say, Jaswell Weaver, how much journalistic integrity do we expect from people in this space? And if we expect journalistic integrity, right? If we agree that there should be some journalistic integrity, how much of that involves research? How much of that involves double checking? How much of that involves fact checking? So that in the same way I didn't double check or fact check Queen Tulsa a few days ago, I heard her mention the name Dominique, and I just assumed that she had to have been talking about me. But for myself, I kind of hold myself accountable because I probably should have done some journalistic, um, you know, because she didn't say her last name. She said Dominique. And so I maybe could have done some journalistic due diligence to determine if there was a Dominique other than myself that she might have been talking about. Why I have to hold myself to that standard is because as I build this space, it's the standard that I want for us here. I want this to be a space where people know that they can come and get honest truths. And if I can't give honest truths, people should definitely be getting honest opinions. So that even opinions need to be rooted in something more than just a feeling. Now let's go back to this. Jazz Real says, it came from out her own mouth, she lied. Or, well, MGO Proud Black PhD but says, Jazz Real, it came out of her own mouth, she lied. Jazz Real Weaver says, no, it did not come out of her own mouth. I am a fan of her channel as well, I know. And Brandy Williams says, Dom, we want to see you in some spicy content in the future. Really, so, we want to see you in some spicy content in the future really soon. Marcus should pay you well. Brandy, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. When you consider everything that's going on with ASI and you consider what occurred in the last spicy video and you bring that up in this chat, I don't know what kind of a fucking disgusting, nasty human being you are, but I will tell you this, Brandy. You're probably the kind of person that I really want following me if this is where your head is. Like, you just watched the last mention of spicy content that at least I know of, because again, I don't even subscribe to that stuff. I'm sure you probably do. Okay? And dad's briefcase and all of that. Okay? But it ain't something I'm subscribed to. And don't get it twisted, because I love spicy content. But I don't like that kind of spicy content. And I don't like the notion of certain types of spicy content. And the last time that I personally heard the mention of spicy content related to ASI, it was involving a 17-year-old runaway who was sexually assaulted by a 29-year-old in a hotel while a spicy video was being filmed, and the director of the video was maneuvering the body of the 17-year-old in order to produce, I guess, a more quality video for people like Brandy Williams. And somehow Brandy wants to encourage me to have sex with some homeless person in some seedy effing motel for a couple dollars. As if in my grown age, if I want to do spicy content, do you not think I know how to do that on my own? Would I need Marcus's help for that? Have I ever, let's be clear, have I ever needed the help of any third party? Y'all, when y'all come in here with that trolling and being funny, like I could laugh at a lot of stuff, but there are certain things that get absolutely no amount of humor from me whatsoever. And that is fucking one of them. That is one of them. I don't find no humor in that, and I can't be amused by that sort of thing. And I don't have no problem with the trolls or the trolling, because ultimately, like I tell y'all, unless you're going to keep a dollar out my pocket, a man out of bed, my brain out of sanity, all you finna do is waste your time and just like, I mean, I don't know like what y'all be used to in these YouTube streams, but y'all gonna figure out I'm a little bit different. Y'all gonna figure it out. Y'all gonna figure it out soon enough. Yes, y'all will. Let me read some of these. I hate that we were even thrown off. Let me get back where we were. Okay, let me go back up. Okay, I agree with you, Dominique. However, we can't point fingers at the. Okay, I've got to that part. I'm not 17, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, so you think some home is open at like what? And you think, you know what? What am I doing here? MGO Proud Black PA Zebra says, first of all, she made it up on her own without anyone telling her. Plus, if she inherits someone else's unverified info and repeats it as her own, she is equally responsible for the lie. That's not a disagree. So, two or several things can be true at the same time because all see things different. And this is not to or about anyone or anything. I'm speaking in general. Oh, okay. Brandy says, wait, she was assaulted. Look, the laws of Georgia says that a 29-year-old can F on a 16-year-old. And that is the law. That's the law. Brandy, do you agree with that law? Brandy, is that a law that you would have written into law yourself? I probably don't even need to ask that. Never mind. At Lotus, there is zero truth to the false allegations of federal crimes I have been accused of. They aren't small things, and there is no credibility to any of them, but I do understand your point overall. MGO Jazra Weaver says, MGO, she never mentioned anything or said anything out of her own mouth without no proof. Plus, her information that she repeated came from a reliable source. Okay, well, then a reliable source should be a source that comes with proof. A reliable source to me is a source that is backing up claims. What's more reliable than that? That's why when you walk out of Walmart, they want to rely on the fact that you paid for everything in your cart. So what they do? They ask to see your receipt because there ain't nothing more reliable than a damn receipt. So I'm going to assume that that reliable source came with receipts. Were those receipts produced? Or did the reliable source not come with receipts? Hence, receipts were not produced. Fair question or no? Lotus Flower Bomb says, so two or several things can be true at the same time because we all, oh yeah, I did see that one. Well, when you make some spicy content, send it to me. God bless you, Brandy. Jazz Rose says she absolutely said this thing is okay. Okay. Jazro Reba says MGO, okay, but again, I asked you for the receipt that she's making completely lies, but you failed. How do we know you're not the liar? Okay, Jazro Weaver, give me an example of what would be an acceptable receipt for you to prove that someone has lied on your name. And Lotus Flower Bomb says, understand, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying it could be what the person believes when they're saying certain things. I'm trying to speak but remain unbiased because I know how. You know what, Lotus? I'm picking up what you're putting down. I am picking up what you're putting down. There's a certain element of you know, and I guess that's kind of like that gray area that I be talking about where you can be in a space where you truly believe that what you are saying holds up to scrutiny, where you honestly believe that everything that's coming out of your mouth is rooted in fact. Now, for my part, where you could have that kind of a strong sense of being right, I don't know if unless it comes with some fact or unless the source is so reliable, like this got to be like, is this person's wife, husband, children? Because at a certain point in life, I also realized that not in every situation, right? Sometimes receipts aren't always available. Sometimes the receipt is common sense, but you got to be real careful with that. Says there is no source that's more credible than the actual concrete proof, which I have, and she does not. Lies and doing so intentionally. There's no justification for that. Lotus Flower Bomb says narratives get spun in this community, so I have to clarify what I'm saying so it doesn't get misconstrued. That is so true. Even because Lotus, I was nervous about doing this because I don't want like I don't give a damn. Who am I kidding? Okay, so Jasmine Weaver says MGO, she is not lying or spreading rumors or making false accusations. She's only exposing information that was shared with her. Wow. She is not lying or spreading rumors or making false accusations. She's only exposing information that was shared with her. Okay, information. Because even receipts can be, this is why YouTube, this is becoming such a very dangerous space. Because we don't even have people in this space using the minimal level of grace. You know that minimal level that says, well, I do know that receipts can be falsified. Even documents, you can ask an AI engine to create any set of falsified documents for you right? So when I talk about proof receipts, you better know that I am referring to things that are stamped, government, watermarked, government, signal. Like, listen, it's too easy to be fooled in this space. I've seen it happen so often. MGO says, as Jazro, you don't have to believe me. As I stated, I will provide the receipts on the live that Dominique hosts. Okay, I'm scheduling that. Got to schedule that. And you can see them at that time. Until then, believe what you want. Jazril says she is doing every last one of those things. Where's her proof of all those claims? Where's her receipts? Because I have all of mine. And to me, Jazril, that not what this comes down to? If we intend to squash any beef, if we intend to settle any beef, if we are ever going to get to a point in the street sector where we get away from trying to impersonate the beef sector, because like I be hearing y'all talk about the beef sector a lot, and I be like, ain't this it? Is this not it? I mean, what? All anybody ever does is beef. Like literally. 80% of what you see in the street sector is beef. So if you're going to get past that, right, and move on with a certain amount of appreciation for people's honesty and integrity, then we got to know who the people are that are honest around us. And the only way to know who they are is to notice who the dishonest people are. And then there is the gray area where sometimes the people that you think are dishonest, and MGO Proud Black PhD, but this is not a reference to anything you've been saying. Because remember, this is a very general discussion and point of view that I'm having. So this is not directed to anything you've said, I promise you. And there's that there's also that gray area where there's that gray area where you can believe something so strongly that it becomes true to you, right? And it doesn't mean that someone should suffer under the weight of your lie. But I believe that as adults, if your lie was not an intentional one, again, it should never be a problem to get on live and say, I was given a set of what I believe to be facts regarding so-and-so, and over time, it has come to me that set of information did not rise to the level of facts that I thought it did at the time. And as a result, I need to rescind accusations I made about Humpty Dumpty or Pinocchio, or insert any name. I do offer them an apology, and whether that apology or not, I do apologize for not checking, double checking, and rechecking before that information was put out. You see, there's no harm in that. When you do that, people are going to respect you more. Your credibility score in the YouTube streets is going to go up exponentially, because let me tell you something. Nobody likes a person who always wants to be right. Nobody likes that person. Nobody likes a person who can't ever be wrong, and not just can't be wrong, but can't admit when they're wrong. Nobody likes that person. Most of us can't stand that person. Okay. Jazro says, MGO, I'm not trying to be mean or cruel to you, and all I'm asking for is the receipts. If you show me proof, then I will believe you. Well, Jazro, my question to that would be, what receipts did you that allowed you not to believe her or him? What did you see? What were the receipts that you saw or the proof that you saw that allowed you to not believe MGO, who says, at Jezreel, I understand and I respect what I do, and I respect that. I do wonder, has she shown proof? Shouldn't the burden of proof be on the person making these claims? Oh, that's a fact. If you call me out my name, if you make an allegation against me, the burden is not for me to prove that you are wrong. The burden is for you to prove that you are right. I'm so sorry. You cannot get out here and say so and so had an affair with somebody's husband or wife and then expect for them to spend the next however many days, weeks, and months proving that they did not. How do they even prove that they did not? How does a person prove they didn't have an affair with someone? What? The other person could say they did, even if it's never happened. That's happened in life. For real, for real. Even in biblical days, it happened. I feel like it should be easier on the accuser making the accusation to provide the proof. Isn't that why in the court of law they tell us that people are innocent until they're proven guilty? So we don't operate from the standpoint of if an accusation is said, an accusation is true. We operate from the standpoint of if an accusation is made, we need to give the person making the accusation an opportunity to prove it. That's the I I thought that was how we were doing it in America, right? The diva says, I have shown my proof before and will gladly do so in time. I appreciate you being able to dialogue respectfully. All of you who are here, actually, thank you, diva, and I agree with that. By the way, everyone's still been pretty respectful. And Jezreel Weaver says, acceptable receipt to me would be at least a text message or a voice call. A text message or a, okay, see, yeah, I don't know enough to know how much sense that makes, because that might very well make a whole lot of sense, but an acceptable receipt. Okay, so a text message or voice call regarding what? A text message or a voice call regarding what? Hmm? Yeah, so true about narratives. The diva says, I can do far better than text messages and voice calls. I have IRS documentation, screenshots, affidavits, legal statutes, eyewitnesses. Wow. That that would trump a text message or a voice recording. I mean, governmental documents are usually like the gold standard of receipts. right? Text messages can't be the gold standard. They're way too easy to duplicate or, you know what I'm saying? I'm just having a dialogue, Lotus says. I'm just saying what I'm seeing without putting my own personal opinions in it. Makes sense. Screen recordings, donations, receipts, etc. The Diva says, at Lotus, I love that about you. You are able to consider sides. And that's a very important characteristic to have if you're going to be in this space, because it seems like this is a space where people fight and argue a lot. MGO says, I agree, Dominique. Beeping is destroying the street sector. It feels like 2024 again, when the sector almost imploded because of the infighting. Now we're back there with all the arguing. It is really sad. And it's one of the reasons why I tune out as often as I can. Now that I'm actually a CC in this space, it's not as easy for me to tune out as it was in the past. Because it's like I have to get on here like mandatory at least a few, 4 times, 5 times a week, right? To maintain some interest. And so sometimes I have to force myself to kind of step over all of the muck in the YouTube streets, all of the fights and the beef and the this and that. MGO Proud Black Diva says Sheena has been informed of that, and she continues to repeat the lies anyway. She knows she's lying and she doesn't care. That is a sign of poor character. Wow. Flower Bomb says, it is very sad, but I said this on someone's panel last year. The things going on in the sector are going to keep escalating because there is a heavy dark cloud over this sector. I wonder why. I wonder why there's such a heavy dark cloud over the sector. Could it be that there's just so much negativity in this sector and there's not enough people bringing any balance? There's not enough CCs bringing balance to all of the effery that we see in this sector. And I hate to say it, but in a sector that is 90% black, maybe more, it makes it even more disheartening, but at the same time, you kind of see a pattern, because it just kind of seems as if when black folks get together, even in this space, in a large group, somebody's going to want to pull that thing out and get the firing off. And it just seems like this is just a replication of what we see in the real world, in the hood. And I'll tell you something else. There's not a lot of black on black love in these YouTube streets. I see a lot of black on black hate, a lot of black on black memification, a lot of black on black exploitation. I was so appalled that a video popped up in my timeline the other day. There's this man, this black guy, big guy. He goes around, I think he's in Florida, but he does go to different states or whatever, right? And apparently, and I say apparently because once I see, get a glimpse that that's the case, I'm not into self-harm, so I continue watching. But apparently what he does, goes around and he finds homeless people or people in the hood. So poor people, get it out your head that rich people live in the hood. They do not. There are no rich people living in the hood. Poor people. Okay? They may not be the poorest of the poor, but poor people live in the hood. I live in the hood. I am not the poorest of the poor, but I am poor. In the general sense. Okay, know who you are, or you from who you are. Don't be in denial of where you are, or you won't grow from where you are. You won't get to where you want to be or where you need to be without any appreciation for where you are or actual understanding of where you are. Okay, but anyway, he goes around and he gets these poor and homeless and drug-addled cracksy heads to eat like it'll be the spiciest chip in the world. It'll be the spiciest beef jerky, or maybe you have to drink the spiciest drink ever. And you get to win $20 or $40 if you get through it, right? But of course, you're damaging your health, and some of these people already have guts that drugs have already torn the lining off of, right? Some of these alcoholics have drank so much that their throat, their esophagus, the lining has been destroyed. So for them to drink toxic things like that is just absolutely insane, right? But you have black men going around offering this opportunity. When if you have $20 that you can give to help somebody, why you don't just give it to them? Like, why do they gotta debase themselves in the absolute worst ways? Why must they humiliate? Why must they embarrass themselves? You see, God is probably not going to bless a sector that is so rooted in the destruction of its very own people. Nobody in the street sector beefs with anybody outside of the black race that I'm aware of. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I don't see God blessing a sector where success seems to be based upon how many people you can backstab as quickly as you can backstab them. How many people you can lie on as quickly as you can lie on them. How many people you can drag down as quickly as you can drag them down. How many people you can spin a narrative about as quickly as you can spin a narrative about them. I don't think that this is the kind of sector that's ripe for God's blessings. A sector built on the back of self-destruction. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And I consider those videos where the men go around offering money, for these challenges where you embarrassing your. I consider those to be part of the street sector. What else would you call that? They're on the street. They're approaching random street people. That's all part of the street sector. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? And why are those kinds of videos so attractive? Like, you have to be, that's why I say you could tell a lot about, I say, people say you are what you eat. I say you are what you consume. Not just what you eat, not just your food you consume. You are what you consume. You are what you eat physically, but you also what you eat mentally. You are what you eat spiritually. You are what you eat emotionally. You are what you consume. Jazreel says, what gave me not to believe someone is when they say something without no evidence or proof. I gotta take their words as face value, which I refuse to do. Yeah, but Jazz, then I'm gonna have to ask you if that really is fair. I'm gonna have to respectfully challenge that way of thinking because okay, Jazreal. Um, First of all, is this are you? I'm not trying to be funny, male or female, because I want to address you respectfully. Are you male or female, Jazreal Weaver? Shit, Jazreal, you got. I don't know. See, some of y'all be unreasonable though. Like that last comment, Jazreal Weaver. Like, okay, you say, may I ask if she's so-called lying on you, then why are you so? I'm always why are you defensive when she bring it up? I don't know about you, but most people tend to want to defend themselves against lies. Most people. Most people, when you feel like someone is genuinely lying on you, and especially when those lies involve federal crimes, and you know, most of us don't just kind of, shrug it off. If it was just a read, like let's say if you say, oh, that's why you got that nasty C4 hair. Okay, somebody might shrug that off. You know. MGO says, it's my name and my life's work. Why wouldn't I be? She's not so-called lying. She's lying. Why would you think that's okay? Hmm. Shazra says, I understand that, but there's so far allegations true. I'm not sure. I think that might have been a typo a little bit there. Okay, are the allegations true? The diva says every allegation is a lie, every single one. Jazreal, let me ask you this. When I do this live call in and panel show, right? Okay, Jazreal Weaver's a male. Okay, good, bro. Just want to make sure I'm speaking accordingly. So when I do the panel call in show, right? You would state clearly here that if, and I say if respectfully, MGO, because again, I don't know. I can't possibly know. If MGO pulls out the big guns of receipts that show that literally every accusation against her was a lie, what would your reaction be? Dominique says we can refute one lie right now. Will you go to the IRS website? I will. 1 second. Let me slide off of here for a moment and open up my group Google Chrome. We'll go to irs.gov. Oh wait, now I ain't filed. Is they gonna get me? No, I'm just playing. All right. I'm on irs.gov. Now let me go back to the chat and tell me my next step. Okay. Please go to charity lookup. Okay. Charity lookup coming up. Let me just do a create menu. Go to the menu. I'm not seeing it in the menu. Let me just search it. Charity lookup. Yeah, because IRS lies now, those is dangerous lies. If you know what I mean, like that would be a dangerous lie now to tell on somebody thing related to that. People go to jail for tax related shit all the time. You don't want to play about that. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the menu. Let me see. Back to the home page. An official website of the United States government. Yeah, I know that. Okay, Trump accounts. No. Find tax debt help, popular topics, payments, IRS, tax records, employee IN, withholding, amended tax return, help and contact, your account. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing charity lookup. Let me go back to the chat and see if there's some further instruction. I cannot make this up. Those were not inaccurate. Okay, wait. An organization, wait. She showed you inaccurate receipts clearly. Okay. When you go there, go to search by EIN. Okay. I did see something regarding EIN. There was a little bit further up. Employee. I, oh no, this is get a EIN. I don't know what this is. Why it is that I can't find the charity lookup. Let me just do this. Let me just can I is it a charity name I can just Google the charity name and then like a separate Google search. Okay, I'm going to the IRS website myself. Let me read some of these comments as she does that. I understand that, but again, like I stated before, she has shown us the receipts. Okay. Jazreel says, okay, MGO says, she has shown you inaccurate receipts clearly. The Diva says, an organization will come up. You want to pull up the 990 reports. Jazreel says, no, those were not inaccurate receipts. They were real. Jazreel says, I can't make nothing like this up. MGO says, Jazreel from the IRS website. MGO says, because they will prove that there is zero tax evasion. Jazreel Weaver says, okay, I'm going to the IRS website myself. Okay, this is great. Let's do it. This is what I'm talking about. Doing internet search for IRS charity lookup. Bet I'm on it right now. Cause I ain't gonna hold you. If I was told and I seen like facts that was like indisputable, I would feel a way. Tax exempt organization, charities and nonprofits. Okay, here we go. I can click on that there. Okay, charities and nonprofits. Now, what am I? Search organizations. Do I go to search organizations? Do I go to search organizations? Jazreel Weaver says that will be back. Yes, search by employer identification number. Okay. I'm going to go to search by employer identification number. Oh. Charities and nonprofits. Search for charities. I'm already in search. Okay, 990. Okay, I'm in the tax exempt organization search tool. Search for tax exempt organizations. Okay, I'm now at tax exempt organization search page. And I guess there's a form because I wouldn't know the EIN number. I want to get to the bottom of this so bad though, y'all. Because I generally don't like liars, but I also understand that the way that we communicate, right? And like if you understand communication, you can see a situation where there's that gray area I spoke of earlier. Put the EI in the chat. Advocacy Without Borders. I like the name of that. Search by EIN. It doesn't give me. I'm looking for. Where do I put the name of the charity? It doesn't give me a. I see search by, search term, and there's a space that says enter EIN number. You have city and state, and then country. I'm not seeing. Or search by name. City is Sugarloaf. Is that gonna say Sugarloaf? State is Texas. Okay, so okay, Sugarloaf, Texas. Texas. The country is the United States. I'm still not seeing. Damn. Let me see. There is not a space in here for name of charity. If now there is a space for EIN number, but you may not want to provide that. I'm guessing. I don't know. Oh, Sugarland. I said Sugarloaf. I told you the thing be blocking the that little heart be blocking the last word. Sugarland. I bet you it's a lot of sweet men live out there, boy. If I'm a woman, I don't think I could date any man in Sugarland. Mm-mm. No, we're gonna have to wait till we get to Vinegarville. Advocacy without, yeah, I seen that, but there's no there's no entry space for the name of an organization. There's only enter EIN number or a search term or yeah, EIN number. Oh, okay. Organization name. I got it now. I had to come out of the search by EIN and go to the organization name. Okay, Advocacy Without Borders. Advocacy Without Borders. Sugarland, Texas. All right, we ready? Let me see. United States, right? Okay, now search. Your results did not, your search did not return any results. Try again. Okay, did I put miss something? Select database. The data, well, I selected all data. Let's go with 990, copies of 990s and returns. Advocacy Without Borders, search it. Yeah, it's not coming up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm assuming I'm doing something wrong because I know yours, Advocacy Without Borders. Okay, let's do a different criteria. No, it's not coming up. Sugarland, Texas. I don't know. I don't get. You can see all our 990 reports there. I cannot seem to find you through your EIN number. Are you sure you're giving us the right information? MGO says they will prove there is no tax evasion. Judge will search by name then. What is the city and state? Advocates Without Borders, Sugar Land, Texas. And then the reports are also on my organization's website. Oh, okay. Okay, then we making progress. We making progress. Because if at the end of the day, they're on the she's got to do a full disclosure. So right, on I guess the financial or fiscal disclosure page on the website. Jazro, let me know when you find that. If you find that, let me know when you find that. OMG, I had this cold water frozen in it. I mean, ice. So this is what I'm gonna do. Sip little by little, but I'm really thirsty. I need it. When you find it, Jazreel, let me know. Mm. How easy it would be. Okay, advocacy without borders.org. And then, of course, the heart is blocking the darn last word. So let me type something just to get it to go up. Okay, slash public inspection. Okay, so it's going to be advocacy without borders.org slash public inspection. Okay, let me Google that. Advocacy without borders.org slash public inspection. What am I doing wrong? You know what? Let me just do it as advocacy without borders.org and then go in. Oh, it definitely comes up in the search. As soon as I got past without, it was coming up. Okay, public inspection. Here we go. We're in. We're in. Public inspection. Advocacy Without Borders was founded in 2014. Oh, congratulations. You've been around for a minute. Became a 501c nonprofit organization in 2021. Comply with federal and state regulations for public inspection of annual returns and our exemption application by making these terms widely available per IRS regulations. Please access these items below. Additionally, we have some items available for public inspection that can be viewed in person at our physical office on weekdays during business hours. You may also request a copy. Oh, wow. So, literally, if anyone wanted to know what the financial standings or tax liabilities for Advocacy Without Borders is or was, you could literally just either go here and view, or you could make a request, or you could even come see in person. Okay, you can. Oh, I see they're downloadable here. You got your public disclosure law and hmm, for your 990 filings. Well, let's go on ahead and click download. Why not? Let's go on and open that one up and see what we're looking at here. Okay, this is a tax filing of some sort. Public disclosure copy. Has the name of the agency, the form type, tax year to 2025, so most recent year. This is exactly what we want to look at. This is exactly what we want to look at. Let's see. Now, oh, my eyes are gonna struggle, ain't they? Okay, let me. Um, Sugarland, Texas. Yes, this is it. And what this particular document shows is, okay, so revenue expenses per books. Okay, so 52K. 30 in that one. And okay, that's in the same. This column is disbursements. Okay, I'm trying to understand what the allegation was, because if the allegation was that there's some tax, some non-filing of taxes going on, or some tax evasion with respect to this organization, this document, as I read it, one second. No, this is clearly a filing. I mean, I'm gonna jump back to the chat, guys. But yeah. Let me see. Let me see what's being said here. Okay, I'll be right back. Records for public inspection. Executive Dominique, they can come in and see it or request it from us. Lotus says, click on the website and then click public inspection in the about section of the website. Yep, that's how I got in. I have nothing to hide. The IRS actually contracted with me to come do a training for its staff. I will be hosting it in October of this year. Would that be happening if I was engaged in tax evasion? I'm pretty sure that would not be happening. MGO, I still cannot find you. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I can't find advocacy without borders. I definitely found it. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google. You're going to go to advocacywithoutborders.org. There's not going to be any spaces in any of that. So run it straight through advocacywithoutborders.org. And then you're going to go to the about section and hit public inspection. Lotus says, I found the website by typing in the name of MGO's business, but I can't remember if I had a hard time getting to it. MGO says, plus my organization is a private operating foundation. We are not required to give any grants at all because we do charitable programs. We still choose to give them anyway. Nice. All of our work is charitable, our programming, and on top of that, we still give thousands of dollars away, even though our organization is very small. I don't even take a salary. Well, that's very impressive. And I mean, all of these things are, either provable or disprovable claims. So I noticed that I donated over 4,040K of my own personal money to the organization 2 to 3 years in a row to help more people. Hardly tax evasion. Yeah, and then I guess another thing, MGO, is if you determine that someone is lying on you about not just something that could be criminal, but also something that is like literally your passion. Like y'all know cooking is my passion. Could you imagine how mortified I would be for somebody to get up here talking about how my food made 20 of their family members sick, and I know for a fact that never happened, and like culinary work, hospitality management, like those are things that I'm extremely passionate about, like did the work to actually build a career out of it. And it hits different when an allegation is being made in that regard. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes more than just about proving. That makes it even more painful, yeah, to be slandered like that, right? And especially like when you're doing charitable work, you're supposed to be altruistic, empathetic, sympathetic, good natured, all of these things. And so if you're scamming, then obviously that goes against everything, right? So then it makes you look like someone not even worthy of running that type of an organization. Right. This is my life's work, my ministry. I get it. Like food is my ministry. I completely get it. I just want to see if we can get to a place where any adult in this space goes, you know what? I'd never come across that. I'd never seen that. You got that one. I shouldn't have said that. And I'm not saying just specifically about this. I'm saying about any of the situations that I want to address in this upcoming Street Sector Conflict Resolution Live. Shit, I'd just be the house host of the Street Sector then. I funded it for 7 years with my own money before I ever took a penny in donations or grants. Wow. Wow. As someone who has done charitable work before, yeah, that could be problematic. And what I am being accused of is illegal. So aside from being disrespectful and untrue, it's a crime. It's not right. Yeah, that's a fact. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't, like, certain lies. I always say you can't just, like that whole thing. We was taught sticks and stones may break my bones and names will never hurt me. It depends on what name you calling me, because some names absolutely will. Right? Many a career has been ruined being called a sex offender. Many a career has been ruined being called a sexual harasser, right? Um, Many a career have been ruined over allegations of theft or dishonesty. So I mean, it depends on what you call me. If you call me a lemon head, sure, that's a stick and a stone that won't break my bone. You can call me a lemon head, sure. MGO Productions further adds, and what I am, yeah, right. Lotus Flower Bomb says, I found it. You got to click on records for public inspection under the About Us section, and you can reset the information. Right. Yeah. But Lotus, do you see what I see? Were you able to come and see what I see? Because I downloaded it. I downloaded it. You know what else I noticed about beef in these YouTube streets? A lot of y'all don't solve y'all problems with people before y'all start hating them. Do it while you only can't understand them, or do it while you only don't like them. Because once you get to the point where you hate them, you're never going to solve it, because you hate them too much to admit that you were wrong about anything, and you hate them too much to accept their apology when they say that they admit that they were wrong. So it's important to me in this space that people, CCs, know that if you have a problem with another CC, right, try to resolve it before the feelings intensify into hate. And I think that that's what I see a lot happen in these YouTube streets, is that a lot of y'all CCs just literally really hate one another. Like I'm not put it. Because some of the shit that gets said, you can't say about a person unless you hate them. You have to hate them to say that. So if these problems fester and they grow exponentially to the point where hate becomes part of the conversation, there's not going to be much chance to fix anything, right? Because when you hate somebody, you don't want the best for them. So you don't want them to be seen as honest, and you don't want them to be seen as integral. So therefore, you keep the lie going, even knowing it's a lie, because you hate the person. Or conversely, you won't accept the apology and move on simply because you hate the person. So it'll be more important to point out how they lied than it will be to point out that they took responsibility and accountability. If you got guys understand what I'm saying. If you can tell, I used to actually write I used to write conflict resolution models and programs for schools and community centers. I did that all through the 90s and the 2000s. I don't know, but God has blessed me with an ear for conflict and some proven methods to how to. But again, a lot of that depends on getting to the problem before hate enters the picture, right? Because then it just makes it more difficult. Not impossible though. let's see what we got going here. MGO says, okay, well, Lotus says, okay, Lotus found it. And then Jazrael says, or MGO says to Jazrael, I hope you review it with your own eyes and report back. I have nothing to hide. Jazrael says, MGO, I still couldn't find you, but if Dominique found you, then that's okay. As far as the tax evasion accusations, I do not know who to believe anymore. Sheena is telling one story and you are another. Well, what is the story? So if you say Sheena's telling one story and MGO Diva is telling another story, then what is the story? Because if the story is that NGO is in some tax liability with respect to her organization, her nonprofit, that's a very easy accusation to prove either way. Because if she has a tax liability, there are organizations like the Better Business Bureau Association that are, well, the equivalent to the Better Business Bureau that are directed to 501Cs, where they rate them and things like that. Where, I mean, those things would be it's not easy. Let me tell you something. When you are a 501C, you cannot hide any liability to the IRS. You can't hide it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. You can't obfuscate it. You can't re-narrate it. It's really one of those cut and dry things. Am I right about this, MGO? This is one of those cut and dry things, I thought. There's really not no gray area when it comes to MGO says, I agree with you now. You are right. They could have been inaccurate receipts. That's why I said I don't know what to believe anymore. So now I just stay out of it. Well, that was very mature of you, Jazrael. And it's exactly the kind of maturity that I want in my space. You are 100% right. Golden Signature says Sheena is an evil spirit. You will never see me tell someone that they are either right or wrong about their opinion of another human being, because at the end of the day, we don't all have the same relationship with everybody. So how you see somebody and how somebody else sees somebody does not always have to be the same things, and it doesn't make either person wrong. So yeah, can't defend people against opinions, but I will defend people against lies to a certain extent, right? So to say that someone is has an evil spirit, that's your opinion about someone. There's no defense against that. Um, but to say that someone is evading their taxes, that's something different. As that is a more direct, non-opinionated statement. Golden Dominique asks, what lies have been told and by whom? I mentioned a few of Sheena's lies. Someone in the chat asked for receipts because Sheena showed her people inaccurate ones. And Jazz says, thank you. I wasn't trying to be mean to you. It was just that it didn't know true and what's not. Lotus says, I've been in the sector long enough to know a lot of things which I could debunk lies and also verify truths, but I'd rather stay in my own lane and mind the business that pays me. I know that's right. Sheena doesn't have no receipts. She showed them inaccurate receipts claiming tax evasion, and I provide evidence debunking it. Well, I mean, it's no question that there's absolutely no question that you do not have a tax liability with respect to Advocacy Without Borders. Period. I just saw that. That's on a whole government website. Now, but because of the graceful side of me, well, no, I'm not even gonna. The bottom line is there's no tax liability that I was able to discern related to the organization. So where that information came from, I don't know. Maybe at some point there will be a reckoning as to where the information came from to begin with. As well as whatever receipts there were at that time that might have made it look that way, how those came to be. But it's interesting because, believe it or not, when I started this chat, this wasn't even what I was referring to. I didn't even know that this had brewed in the background or had ever taken place. I was literally referring to everything surrounding Vibes Queen, but I'm very glad that this situation came to light because it's one I wasn't aware of. And it gave us an opportunity to show what it looks like when grown people sit down together and try to figure something out without being rude to each other. Because the way you guys handled that Diva and Jazreel was a class act. I just want to say that. And let me see, this is chat. Lotus says, for anyone just entering the sector, all y'all got to do is listen and pay attention to everything being said and not being said. Things can be verified and refuted. You just got to know where to look. That, and Lotus, for me, that's my problem. But I'm figuring it out, though. Because I'm starting to learn which spaces I can assign credibility ratings to. So, for example, there's some content creators, I give them a 5 rating, credibility. Some might get a 3, some get a 1, right? And it all depends on, I take a lot into account of the things that I've heard you talk about. How many came out to be true? How many came out to be not true? When they were not true, were they intentional or were they based on what I perceived was your good faith information at the time, right? Also, even in your captions, how often are you clickbait? How often do you clickbait your subscribers versus just, what it is? And if they click, they click. And if they don't, they don't. Damn it. I take into account even the pictures that you use of people. How much of those pictures are being used to embarrass and shame, and how much of the pictures are being used to illustrate the point of that the caption is being made? Is it being done? Is AI being used ethically responsibly, or is it being used to further harm someone's image or to make them look more sinister, less attractive? All of those things I take into account when I assign my personal credibility ratings to the accounts I most interact with on YouTube, if that makes any sense. Because to me, all of that stuff matters. So I'm happy that at least we were able to find some scant resolution with respect to, Lotus apologizing for the typos. And Lotus, I be doing it too. My phone got a mind of its own, and then I got them big ass Falcon fingers. So sometimes my phone get to acting like a football. Yeah. So it is what it is. But I'm glad that, again, we were able to find some scant resolution to at least one allegation in particular. Um, I am going to work on getting this live panel in production, hopefully for Friday of this coming week, because I know it's going to take some time. I need to kind of go backtrack, stroll through the YouTube streets a little bit and bone up on some of what these issues have been. Dominique, that's how the Most High God tests and strengthens your discernment. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. People think that credibility is based on one thing. Nah, it's based on a lot of stuff. Because there's some people in this space that I see y'all, not some of y'all, but I see a few people like, assign a certain credibility to, and I be like, yeah, but if you look at how they do these things, that takes away from their credibility, because integrity is not just about how you behave in one way. It's about how you behave in every way in this YouTube space. Y'all not fitting to see me making memes, memifying people, and trying to make photos of people that make them look, much more evil or sin, because that takes away from the credibility factor. Because now I have to look at you as somebody who's trying to sensationalize. You get it? Golden Dominique is interested in hosting a live where people can provide receipts to prove their credibility of their claims in the midst of recent lies and attacks. And that's what I want to do, because ultimately what I want to do at the end of, not to say that I'm the arbiter of credibility, although quite frankly, crap, where's the lie on my account? It ain't there. Ain't gonna be there. Where's the me demeaning someone for no reason? It ain't gonna be there. You understand what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, yeah, I do want to do that. Because ultimately, I want to assign credibility scores to each account. I want in the final analysis to be able to say, respectfully, is no shade to you, so and so, but based upon all of the facts, the receipts, the documents provided, while I enjoy your platform, my personal assessment is that it deserves a credibility score of 1 or 2 or whatever it is. Because you know me, I don't give a damn. I'm bold enough to do it. I'm bold enough to do it. Now, if you think credibility doesn't matter or shouldn't matter in this space, we can have that discussion too, because there's definitely room for that opinion. If you just wanted to just be a fly-by-night space where people just free will and do whatever they want, there's no accountability. If that's the kind of space that you want to be in, but I don't want to be in that kind of space, y'all. I don't. I prefer a space where people are expected to operate with integrity. I don't enjoy none of y'all's content so much that I want to be lied to. Don't do that to me. I don't enjoy none of y'all's content so much that I want to sit inside your live chat for hours and you just sit up there and just lie on somebody, a whole nother human being. And I definitely don't want to be there for it. If you know you lying, set out to lie, plant the lie, and could give less than a damn about the truth. Oh Lord, no. I definitely don't. Because then that's a hit to my credibility. Is it okay with y'all that for real for y'all? For real, is it okay if I want to make sure that my credibility rating in the YouTube street stays up? So when you come up in here, no, you can't depend that you about to see the most beautiful person in the world. No. You're not going, I can't promise you that every time you come here you going to get your baddie on. Shit, cuz some days I don't even want to put a wig on my head if I'm being honest. But I do at least want you to know that when you come in this space, when words come out my mouth, I want you to get the general sense that you can take them as truth. And that if there's ever a time that something is not true, it will have come from a genuine mistake that will be recognized immediately, cleared up publicly and loudly, so that there's no room for that lie to continue to fester. And Lotus says, oh, hey, Motorgo, what's up? I didn't even know you slid up in here. How you doing? Lotus Flower Bomb says, it's not what you know, it's about what can be proven and what can't be proven. They say there are three sides to a story, each person's truth and the actual truth. The fourth side is what can be proven. That's tough. And the reason why that's tough is because for me to argue against it, I would be arguing against a colloquialism that I've used myself. I've used that colloquialism, that phraseology. But I can tell you that the biblical standard of truth is a lot more cut and dry. It's a lot more streamlined. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe exaggerating is lying. Is exaggerating lying? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe it is. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe it is not. Is exaggerating lying? When people exaggerate, is that the equivalent of lying? Appreciate you, Mo. And Mo says 1. Anyone else got an opinion on that? Is exaggerating lying? I agree. Exaggerating is lying. I watched my sister teach her children that growing up, which is why my sister has honest children. I watched my sister teach her kids that lesson. Even exaggerating is lying. No, exacerbation. No. Okay, Jasmine Ruba says exacerbation is not a lie. It's saying accusation and accusation is not truth or a lie. Nah, exaggerating, exacerbating is lying. It is. You can think of it as the junior varsity of lying. You can think of it as the Timu of lying. But it's still lying. You're not being honest. You're not giving a full-throated account. Exaggerating and exacerbating. Okay, well, when you said exacerbating, I don't know why I thought that you meant exaggerating. But, okay, I will kind of give you that there's a slight difference. I want to say it's more semantic than anything. But exaggerating is... Yeah, exacerbating is different because exacerbating is making more of something than what it is. Exaggerating is positioning the facts in picture in a particular direction. So they may be, you can be telling the overall truth, right, about something, but in the way that you tell the truth, you're telling it to spin a particular narrative. And so, in order to do that, you have to exaggerate certain aspects of whatever the story is that's being told. Motor, go ahead. Well, that threw me off. Put some fat on my head. Oh, okay. I have never even heard of exacerbation. Okay, well, it's not what you do on a lonely night. I can tell you that, Mo. And not saying you. I'm saying like in general. Jazreel says, sorry, wrong spelling. I put some fat on my head. But yeah, exacerbation is a word though. That is an actual word. Mo says you. I know, just a little. But okay, so yeah, I mean, if that's if that's a form of lying, and I agree that it is, then that's one of those third truths that people be talking about. And see, for me, I think we got, as a society, we need to get back to the idea that there is no his truth, her truth, they truth. No, it is only one truth. Like, did the car hit you or did it not? Did you sleep with that nigga or did you not? Are you DL or are you not? You know what I'm saying? Imagine a nigga get to tell you he's not DL because that's his truth. He eating and sucking and effing every nigga he run across, but that's his truth. Nah, I don't. How are we gonna operate in an informational space if that's the logic? Nah, we gotta get to a point where we know, you know what I'm saying, where we know who to trust and who not to trust. We need to know our safe zones and our danger zones in these YouTube streets. We really do. Because, see, somebody could have you out here windmilling for them, looking stupid in the comments, and then come to find out you've been in the trick bag the whole time. And so that's why I say it's very important that, you know, you kind of have a general sense of to know, you know, who the scumbags in the street. Who are the people in this space that have no respect for women? Who are the men in the space that will actually go out their way to talk under a woman's clothing? And I want to know who they are. Because I want either zero or limited interaction with people that I deem as having a deficit in credibility. There are some channels that I watch simply because I deem them to be credible human beings. I can think of two. I will not say their names, and one is a fairly new one. But I find him to be a generally credible person, meaning well-intentioned, well-sourced. And by the way, that well-intentioned part is very important. Because if the intentions do not even start off good, you already know that everything that comes after the intention is going to be bad. So people who don't have good intentions will never have integrity, because integrity gets in the, I mean, people who have bad intentions will never have integrity, because integrity gets in the way of bad intentions. So if your intentions are bad, I don't even expect for you to have integrity. I'm not expecting you to use any moral judgment. I'm not expecting you to use grace. I'm not expecting any of that, because you have bad intentions off rip. So that means that everything that you do um, is going to come from a place of bad intentions. If it's, I'm going to report this story just because I don't like this person, I don't give a damn about the facts. I don't want to know the facts. I don't even want to see a fact. And if a fact knock on my door, I'm calling the police. I'm going to get the facts locked up. I'm going to get the facts taken to court. I'm going to get the facts thrown in jail until the facts get executed. Because I don't want no parts of no facts getting in the way of my effing agenda. Do y'all know that people operate that way? People operate in that space. And when you operate in that very dark and sunken place, Motigo says, oh yeah, I can get that. Intentions lead to standing over your integrity, I do believe. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If your intentions are not in the best place, you will never apologize when you're wrong. In fact, you never even think that you're wrong. Because being wrong will get in the way of your agenda, and you not trying to have that. You need to be right. Because the only way to advance the narrative is to convince as many people that you are right. And so some people will cut corners, and they will take shortcuts and back roads to doing that. We gotta do better, black people. We gotta do better, brothers and sisters. Street sector, we gotta do better. We're fighting too much. This last week was so bad. And fighting to the death, it seems like. Because there's some of y'all, I think if I could put swords in your hand, y'all would literally duke it out in a sword fight. A whole duel on some medieval time shit. And for what? What is the end game? Guys, I'm going to sign out. Y'all stuck around for almost 3 hours. I appreciate that. I've taken up enough of your time. I hope we've learned some things from this live about how to conflict resolute or conflict resolve, about how to address people. Golden Signature says, MGO, I have several receipts. I know that's right. Y'all start lining them up, because that, trust me, that live is coming. Y'all can look to that between by Friday. And I'm going to personally assign what I perceive as credibility scores to these situations. And then hopefully we all can move on. Because I don't understand how some people take this YouTube space so personally that you're hating people in a space where you have no physical interaction. It's so weird. The thing about it is this sector can be so much more if we understand it's not about where this sector came from, but how we can build it up and better move it forward. So true. How do we send gifts to you, Dominique? Shoot, right now? Okay, well, right now I don't have I'm working on getting, I'll have a P.O. box by the end of this week, if not well before this week is out. But in the meantime, My Cash App is always A Shabs. I just dropped it, and it will come up as Dominique Taylor. So accept no imitation. And anybody who wants to drop something in, I intend to do this more often too, just in terms of trying to like, because I don't want to just be a person who's commenting on the beef. I don't want to just be someone. I don't want to just comment on it. You can get, oh yeah, super stickers, right? I can get super stickers. At Lotus Flower Bomb is new to me. If I'm not mistaken, the option is available at the end. Yeah. I can get super stickers, super chats, super stickers, whatever. Yeah, that's true. But any method that you all want to use, I appreciate it. It's not mandatory, but it is definitely appreciated. I am monetized, but the monetization process has not fully gone through. So I have about another week or two. It's in review. I'm definitely at the, there's two stages of monetization. Um, but yeah, definitely the monetization is monetizing. So we got there. We did get our views up. We got our watch time in we got that homework assignment for the watch time. Um, yeah, under the emojis on the side. If you tap the little arrow, it comes up, the option. But I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Y'all get those receipts ready, get those opinions ready, get those strong thoughts ready. Y'all send super chats and super stickers. I deeply appreciate that, Lotus Flower Bomb. I just want to point out I appreciate you, period. Okay, well, thank you. And golden signatures. With that said, would you believe that you just gave me my you know, they say you never forget your first. That is literally my very first super chat, super whatever. Like, I don't even know if it's a sticker, super, whatever it is the first. And I appreciate it. MGO says this was a really good live stream. Lotus says, congratulations, Dominique. Thank you so much. And yes, I agree that it was a good live stream because not only was it productive, we got to the bottom of a particular allegation, but you had two grown-ups disagreeing about something in a chat who were able to do so respectfully and grown-up like and come to what seems to me like at least a consensus with respect to the disagreement. I don't think you could really ask for more than out of a chat that was based on addressing beefs and disagreement. So absolutely, this was a good live stream. I do hope that people catch it on the playback. And I'm going to say good night. It probably won't be forever. I might come back late night with a Dominique After Dark. But now here's the thing with Dominique After Dark, y'all. I want to build Dominique After Dark up as our private space where we talk about sex, sexual health, where we talk about dating, where we talk about relationships and relationship dynamics. I want Dominique After Dark to be kind of like our diary almost. And Lotus says, I enjoyed the live, y'all. I'm glad we could talk without anyone taking things personally. Yeah, that was so neat. I thought that was awesome. But that's what I'm building Dominique After Dark up to be. Because eventually it may become a channel of its own separate. But right now it'll just be this late night segment that happens overnight on the late night. So Y'all make sure y'all are subscribed, you're liking, you're getting all of the notifications. And yeah, we'll see how much we can build out of the Dominique After Dark segment. Last night was the first. Oh God, the freaky music that was played. My Lord. Talk about some spicy. My goodness. But yeah. That's our version of spicy. You know, it's in our music. Now I got my own stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm no angel. I just don't have that. Okay? I just don't have that. And I'm not gonna have that. And I'm not gonna have that. And if if I'm in the mood to do something spicy, let me tell you, well, this is a conversation. See, this is why we need our Dominique After Dark. Because this is a conversation for the late night. But just know, I do not need to fish for no co-star in the Atlanta Streets database. I just want y'all to know that. I'm sorry that the nigga who can't keep my name out his mouth and the nigga that like to bring me up and, keep trying to push him. I'm sorry that that's his dating pool. It hurts my soul to know that that's his dating pool, that's where he finds the most hope for a great night laid. It saddens me to know that that's where he gotta fish, but that's a pool I don't gotta fish in. I don't gotta fish in that pool. Okay? Now, mind you, I got spicy. You know what? I'm gonna drop some tea on y'all. Fuck it. This about to be the tea of the tea. Go on and clip this shit up. I got spicy videos with 2 people from ASI. No, 3. And none of that content is affiliated with Marcus in any way, shape, or form. You can't find it on anything that he is associated with, and you never, ever will. If that makes sense. Why? Because why the F do I need a middleman between me, a nigga, and a camera? Like, does that even make sense? Like, what? Cameraman? Nigga, none of my spicy got any cameraman. I've never used a cameraman because the dudes I deal with, they wouldn't even be going for that. They wouldn't have been going for that. My guys would have been like, nah, I'm good on the cameraman. You could set up a camera. You got a tripod. We could do that. But I'll even hold it. But ain't no nigga about to be recording. No. Now, y'all can judge me differently by what I just said to y'all. You know me. I don't give a damn, baby. I'm grown. I am grown. Grown. I don't care. I don't. That's why I can tell you that. I don't care. Find somebody that nag and get all your emotions, and find somebody that's going to care. Be wasting all that on me. I'm not going to care. I'm not. And I'm not supposed to. And I think that one of the problems that I see is that people be caring just a little too much about the opinions of others about things that they really have no bearing on. You understand? But yes, in my lifetime, I've done a couple, little home videos, as we like to call them sometimes. Sometimes you might want to document or memorialize what you know is about to be an epic encounter. And And yes, sometimes some folk might want to do it for public consumption. But where two consenting adults are making a decision to do such a thing, I have no issue with that. And I don't see, I don't have an issue with it. It's just that, again, I've never partaken in his spicy content. Cause shit, I got my own. Oh my God. I've been his spicy content.